take her and the funeral home assistant to get the flowers, earmarked for the graveside, into the rear of her van, while the sound of the distant motorcycle grew steadily louder. The young servicemen carefully folded the flag with practiced precision. Once their task was complete, the honor guard took over. 3 retired servicemen with rifles, simultaneously firing off 3 shots apiece. The loud, definitive noise jarred Caitlin, and she winced with each firing, as spent bullet casings spit against the cement. Taps issued eerily out across the cemetery. The river running below bounced the sound back until it was difficult to know from what direction the mournful bugling came. The hairs on her arms rose, and a lump clogged her throat. Caitlin swiveled her head, looking for the bugler, but saw instead a black motorcycle traveling the winding road toward the pavilion. The bugling stopped, and she heard the engine again, much louder now. It was an Indian. She knew because Gideon had owned a 2000 Indian chief, bought with money he'd earned working as a carpenter's apprentice the year after he'd graduated high school, and she'd loved riding on the back of it, her arms wrapped around Gideon's firm waist, the wind blowing over her skin, the throb of that distinctive machine vibrating up through the seat. Who was this latecomer? Closer and closer the motorcycle drew. For a moment, it disappeared behind a bend in the road, hidden by a cedar copse. Then it reappeared, just as the 2 Navy seamen handed the folded flag to Goodnight's next of kin, saluted, snapped their heels, and pivoted away. The Indian pulled to a stop behind the procession of cars parked along the circular drive. Heads turned. A murmur ran through the throng as others noticed the new arrival. The rider, cloaked in leather, his face hidden behind a helmet and protective goggles, swung off the bike. He sauntered toward the group, everyone transfixed. Caitlin's heart fluttered in recognition. Gideon. She felt all the air leave her body, heard the blood bounding through her ears. Gideon? But it wasn't Gideon. It couldn't be Gideon, even though he moved with the familiar gait of the boy she'd once loved more than life itself. How many times had she mistaken a stranger in the crowd for her long-lost lover? Hundreds? 1,000? More? The interloper reached the stone pillar where Caitlin stood, her body trembling, mouth dry. He stopped halfway between her and the casket. Her heart was in her throat. Her knees were noodles. Her confused mind was in utter chaos. Her head spun, her vision blurred. She fisted her hands, gulped for air. It wasn't Gideon. It simply could not be. She knew it. And yet. Then he stripped off his helmet, pulled away the goggles, and Caitlin stared straight into the eyes of a dead man. Chapter 1. Traditional meaning of hibiscus. Delicate beauty. 3 weeks earlier. On that late Sunday afternoon in early February, it took a moment for Caitlin to realize someone had spoken her name. Her gloved hands were deep in the rich loam. The earthy scent of cool winter soil teased her nostrils with the promise of miracles. At first she thought the sound was her favorite hen, a beautiful salmon faverole named Colette, clucking over a fat, juicy worm, so she didn't pay much attention. Digging in the dirt helped her think, and she was desperate for a solution to save her flower shop and the home she loved. "Caitlin?" She raised her gaze, saw the 2 Alberta peach trees she'd planted in honor of the 2 men she'd lost, one her husband, the other the love of her life. Both trees were already boldly putting on buds, as if just daring Mother Nature to strike again with a vicious freeze before the official start to spring. Tempting death, those trees, same as her lovers. "It never pays to take risks," she muttered, dusting her hands and rising to her feet. "Mark my word, you saucy darlings, we'll have no fresh peach cobbler this summer." "What did you say, dear?" Caitlin pressed her palms into the small of her back, stretching out the kinks and shifting to meet the gazes of all 10 members of her gardening club, standing around her in a semicircle. "Just talking to my peach trees. They're going to get blasted, blooming this early." 85-year-old Dottie